Hello, hello. Bl'Artagnan here with Divine Pandemonium, Lufenia Plus. We've made it. The new era is upon us. Bringing a team of Exdeath, Zidane, and Agrias. I know this might not necessarily be the most optimal team, looking at you, Exdeath, but I wanted to see what he could do in this new age. And these two are probably a couple of the best partners to bring for this stage, at least, for dealing with it, if you're going to insist on bringing Exdeath anyway. Anyway, I don't have Porum. Might have been a better choice, but anyway. As we get into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Both really help support the channel, help it grow. Leave a comment down below with your experiences and thoughts on the fight. And enjoy that 2,000 damage. I had meant to delete the turn, or delete Pandemonium's turn there, but I was still getting used to using Zidane. This was my first time using him, actually ever, even pre-LDBT. So, Pandemonium opens the fight after your first action, so don't use a call, with his recast, which, in addition to hitting you and putting a max brave debuff on you, summons these annoying tornadoes, who will nuke you if you're not careful, and puts on that tornado aura, which turns off your battery until his turn is deleted. Which is pretty interesting. There aren't many ways to delete turns, so you gotta get creative to get around it. Or just, do what I did and use Zidane. So right there's a little bit of a misplay. I used Mug, realizing that I could have used anything but Mug and then used Mug after on the free turn because Mug's free anyway. As you can probably tell, there was a bit of a learning journey that I went on during the course of this fight. But anyway, what we got here? So Zidane is just deleting the hell out of Pandemonium. We've got some debuffs on him. We are trying to avoid using the second Kurasame call, even though that, we're losing out on some HP damage, because I wanted to save the enchant effect for a little while, and I also wasn't 100% sure if Pandemonium was going to have a chance to take any turns, and I didn't want to get him up to 5 stacks, then have him act and go back down to 1. Getting the feel for this fight, this was something of a blind run at this point. So here's a fun little thing that I did with had hoped to do with Exdeath there, is use his EX in order to prevent the recast from going off and, nuking us. I think we might have too many debuffs on him at this point, I'm not sure. In any case, it's also handy for dealing with those tornadoes, since those things deal a whole bunch of HP damage on their attack turns. Then again, we have Agrias here keeping us safe. It's kind of funny, with Agrias and Exdeath together, it feels like you're completely untouchable so long as your damage is holding up. Due to concerns for longevity, breaking with the HP attack, probably not necessary, but I am going to be stretching Zidane pretty thin with this fight, as you're going to see. Brought Shiva as my call here, partially for just, general speed up goodness, a little bit of a flat attack boost for Exdeath, and so that during the summon phase we can take advantage of the Kurasame in peril. Because toward the end of this fight, the reductions get pretty intense. As you're no doubt aware by this point. But that being said, with Zidane, overall this is a pretty straightforward fight. Shockingly, with the featured character, but he does a pretty great job of completely, sending enemies' turns into oblivion. This is something we're going to have to be careful of as we enter into a number of fights where they have, built-in turn warping mechanics and such designed to kind of keep us from zero-turning the bosses. So, similar to Lightning during her LDBT cycle with Camelot and Reno, where, you had to learn to give the enemies turns while having a crazy delayer on your team. Same principle with Zidane. We're going to need to learn to kind of play around his deletion and use it to give us breathing room without zero-turning. Well, I can see that being frustrating for people. I kind of enjoy that it, makes us think outside the box and learn how to play the character more effectively in a wider variety of situations. Anywho, another thing you can see here with Agrias is, thanks to Faded Moly, despite her largely being a disabling type character, she is able to contribute pretty decently to a zero-turn team. Exdeath is doing reasonable damage on his turns as well, which is nice. I was worried he was going to be hitting for peanuts at this point. And it is true, the reductions by the end of the fight are going to be really cutting into his battery, but it's okay, we'll work around it. So otherwise, what else is there to report? Not a whole lot. Once again, I'm concerned about Zidane's skill usage, so why did I... I'm not even sure. Oh yeah, that was... I wanted to get the break for the delete, and then I wanted the re-break to just push him back one extra turn while we were at it. I don't think Zidane generally has longevity issues if you're playing him right. I do think if you're trying to drag Exdeath through this stage, you can run into some, because Agrias as a solo support isn't the greatest aura bot. She definitely contributes, but, you know, there's a level of support you need to kind of give her on top of what you have access to. So here... trying to decide whether I want to EX or not, because I know he's about to resummon the tornadoes at the 50% mark. I decided to do it. You'll see why. Go ahead and break and get that free turn now. Take a giant recast to the face. But it did no damage, because Exdeath actually has some utility in this fight with his Power of the Void debuff. Free mug, and now that we have the free mug, we can go ahead and try to... Oh, we didn't break him. His turn is not deleted. This sucks. Faded Moly, everyone, to keep us safe. We get 2 turns in a row. We should be able to break him at this point. Right? Right? Yeah. I believe. I'm not doing a frantic bit of mental math right there. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, this has got to do it. There we go. Only took... what, 4 attacks in a row? As I said, with the limited auras we have in this team, the shaving is not the greatest. We're relying pretty heavily on Exdeath's gravity to shave large brave amounts. Not that it's too big an issue in most cases. This was a pretty rare occurrence. Also realizing that I need to reapply the, not the Faded Moly, but the Ruinous whatever. So looking at those bosses there, or the tornadoes, I'm a little nervous, so I think it's time for me to tap into one of my secret weapons here. I have Zidane Burst, and I'm not using it because I am a lunatic. Cannot say I recommend trying this at home, but here we are. Taking advantage of that Agrias Brave gain up. You love to see it. There, those go away. I was figuring this way, if they survived through the end of the burst phase and hit us with an attack, Exdeath's EX buff would be on them and we'd survive. That was the thinking there. But we're ready now. We have the Aerith base call, which, funny enough, gives as much bonus to Exdeath's poison as Waka's does. I'm not 100% sure why that works out, but in any case, we have a whole giant pile of HP direct true damage poison to go through, and you'll notice it doesn't give a fig about the reductions of this Lufenia Plus. It's going to be tapping in for that same amount of damage every action, no matter who or what else is on the field. You'll actually notice, in a little while, it even affects the tornadoes, which is kind of funny. It doesn't kill them, obviously, because the poison can't kill, but it's just funny to see them go down to 0 HP. Anyway, we're just trying to chain turns with Zidane. Take as much advantage of this Exdeath burst effect as we can, especially while the call is still in effect. Actually, I'm realizing now, looking back at how I play this, the trick, next time I do Exdeath here, use the Aerith call after you go through the burst phase. Because it take down by 1 turn and it lasts for 3, so that's just a little learning thing I did there for next time. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. Recast. Doesn't affect us, doesn't hurt us. Exdeath is the greatest. You know, the usual thing. So here I'm a bit nervous, because once again, it's that shaving issue we talked about. But now the reductions are really high, so we're going to be having some trouble trying to shave those down. Confuse those guys. Go ahead and bring Agrias up using Onion Knight. I brought Onion Knight here partially for that longevity concern I mentioned, and partially because I figured this way I could do what I just did and bring Agrias in front of Exdeath to get another extra little bit of that HP poison from the burst effect. My entire plan basically was built around getting to this point of the fight and using the burst effect and taking as many turns as I could to completely ignore the reductions. I think in a fight with a less restrictive orb, I probably would use a character other than Zidane, someone with more auras to kind of supplement the team overall. But it's okay. I'm having a great time. I hope you are too. I'm having a great time with the 2 count on the orb. That is kind of spooky. A little spooky, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and use our last Stellar Circle there, since I figure Brave damage bonus from the 3 targets is going to be going away soon. What do we do now? Jump ahead and hope that these guys are disappearing soon, I guess. Well, let's not take that chance. I guess I could have Faded Moly'd them there, but I want to be trying to hit as many attacks as I can. We have 1 turn left on the Exdeath BT. So we're going to go ahead and get a free break here to once again pop it. And with that, my Exdeath burst has done quite a bit of work. We popped that right around the 45-50% health mark and ate most of their health away from that point. Luckily, I have another one waiting in the wings. You probably thought I was going to swap out Exdeath, which would have been the logical thing to do, but I wanted to make a point. Yeah, so the recording ran out of memory, so I had to start a new one mid-fight. All you missed was me using the AA on the friend Exdeath. Friend actually is Cross13, excellent YouTuber, fellow Blue Exdeath enthusiast, who has been streaming the Historia Crux live stream every Tuesday evening. Check that out on YouTube. It's some good times. He has some good folks on there, and he's an entertaining fella. So thank you, Cross, for the Exdeath. We are now making use of it here. And again, I probably should have swapped out mine for Agrias, but I wanted to be able to say that I didn't swap my Exdeath during this fight, because apparently I'm one of those people now. Jesus. We're just going ahead and doing our best here. But yeah, with the Exdeath friend, I actually kind of recommend starting with the AA, because A, it means during the burst effect you're going to have a longer, or a stronger attack, or stronger poison. It also means he gets off the field sooner, because once the burst effect is over, you kind of don't really want an Exdeath friend on the field. It's not really doing that much for you. It's probably just better for you overall if your regular unit comes back, unless you're really stretching yourself thin. Speaking of which, 79 turns. Jesus Christ, that was cutting it close. Probably would have been shorter had I done the smart thing, but there we go. Divine Pandemonium, Lufenia plus out of the way. Exdeath, still killing it. Zidane and Agrias helped quite a bit. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.